This week on the show, we're featuring Peridot, aquamarine under the microscope cam, universal remote on Why'd I Buy That, 30 new jokes, and double the recommended serving size of Incredible. Where do Catholic kittens go to learn? Kitty Catechism. Kitty Catechism. Moving on with the show. Let's start the show. Ah, the Peridot. I love it a lot. Love to shoot my shot when I get to grind some Peridot. Sure is lovely. Just like Charisse. How's it going, Charisse? Welcome to the program. Should have been thinking when I scheduled the show. I have sparring class. And sparring class doesn't get over until 9 p.m. Eastern. And then I'm usually there for an hour afterwards. Nonetheless, I'm dedicated to trying to get back into being dedicated to doing the show. I like this piece. Always like some Peridot. Gonna have to show it under the microscope because it's got some little of those rainbow discs. Seller hasn't had any more big chunks of Peridot in quite some time. Just little fistfuls of tiny little norbles. So how's your week going so far? I like to do the show on Sunday so I can give you like a preemptive start to the week, before Monday even has anything to do with it. Before there's even a Monday on the radar. I guess Monday's always on the radar. Kind of depends on your calendar. That's my plan, Shuri. So I'm just going to cut one side of my calendar off. The Monday side. I'll just cut that part of the calendar off, and my calendar will have no Mondays. And that is my solution to dealing with Mondays. I think we're onto something here. I think we're winning already. Speaking of winning, welcome to the show. The best show because we have the best audience. Bing! There we are. Here's the gem. There's the size of it. I kind of want to cut a centerpiece in this. Just, push down on the top. And I'll show that under the microscope. It's called a table. But I'm afraid it won't turn out. And I was like, I need to learn to leave good enough alone. And I've got plenty of other gems that will have a table. I've cut a few gems that don't have a table, and usually they're better with a table. But I figured I'd just go ahead and leave this one be since I haven't done the show in a vermillion years. And I need to do the show. So I said, we'll leave well enough alone and we'll make this happen. And that's how that worked. Oh, wow. What am I splitting it? Where's the video? There we go. Right. I'm chiseling off the side. What did I do with the other piece? Must be in the box somewhere. All right, we'll plug the microscope into something else. There we go. That ought to fire it up. Yes. Didn't split where I thought it would, but it did split. So we saved that extra little piece for use at a later date. That's always kind of nice. Okay, where is the microscopocam? And it has arrived. There we are. That's some gemination happening right under the microscope. See how I got a nice bright flare out of that guy? But I think we would have more flare if I cut a table. See how it's got the two big flat spots? It needs one even flat spot in the middle to let the light go down inside and come back out. I think that's what it's missing. See if I can get the discs inside to show. It's got some inclusions, some stuff in there. That's alright. Gives it some character. Not sure what angle is going to get them to show, if any angle at all. They're little rainbow discs, like those. But usually they show... There we go. Little rainbow discs. Or circles. Or something's is. Oh man, I wanted to get them to show so that I can zoom in on them. Pocket lint under the microscope cam. Here we go. Just little air bubbles in there. Make for little ghost rainbows. Little sparkly freckles. Sparkly freckles. Flickering freckles. How many fleckers can a fleckle if a flicker can fleckle? So Peridot comes in a few different colors. It's like yellowish to greenish, right? And we know how the camera likes to adjust itself. So which color is this really? See, that's kind of yellowish, and then if I turn a little more, it gets a little bit greener again. Trying to get it to show the nice, beautiful. There we go. That's about the color of green that it is. If I turn it, it turns yellow, and then back. A little bit of green. That's the green beauty there. That's the green that it is. Sort of like that. It's got that greenness to it. I can see down in it. This is the underside of it. Shows more of the discs on the bottom side more easily. It's got the inclusion. And the discs. A lot of character in this piece. But I'm happy with it. That's the important part. I'm happy with the stone. I'm happy with how it turned out. And that's why I made it a feature. Let's see. I wanted to show this, which is a tile stone, which it's not an actual stone. It's like some kind of glue composite with rock or something, shale, I don't know. But it had this bubble in it. And I wanted to look at that bubble under the microscope because you buy these in mats. They're mats of different size stones. There's big ones, little ones. They're funny shaped ones. And if you go on my Instagram, you can see like the previous when I featured the aventurine we did the last show. I think there's a picture of the tile work that I did. I'll get this over here a little bit. And get to the next video. Peridot 2. But I wanted to take a moment to look under the microscope because it's got like these spots in the stones that help them make them look more like real stone, I guess. And I guess the air bubble had some of that stuff in it that didn't quite get blown up into being stones. I want to say there was 2 pieces with air bubbles in them out of like 20 mats. And I was like, you know what? We're going to look at that on the microscope cam. And you know what we're doing? We're looking at it under the microscope cam. What are the chances, right? I like it. It's working out. It's doing good things. The microscope, I mean. So anyway, this is the space jam that's jammed into that section of that little tile stone. Didn't see as much intrigue as I wanted to, but we saw something under the microscope in the form of a cam. Here's the aquamarine. Oh, did I hold this up to the regular webcam to give you a size? There's the crater. And this is a piece of aquamarine, which I'm going to shape for Brianna. Brianna is a local comedian, and she likes gemstones. And she really likes aquamarine. Didn't know she liked it that much, which is fantastic. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to shape an aquamarine. If I can. And I'm going to use my faceter on this one. A lot of rainbow, and that means that there's little cleavages in there. Which it'd be neat to have them in the middle, kind of like those little rainbow discs. But, I mean, there's a couple of problems in the middle. But I think for the most part, this is actually going to turn out to be a pretty good little aquamarine stone. About that size, too. Pretty close. And we'll hook it up to the faceter and see if we can make a nice little ring-sized aquamarine gem out of it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm pretty much going to go with a rectangle, probably not an emerald cut. I might go with a baguette or a cushion. We'll see. And I wanted to take a moment to go back over the opal that I'm trying to finish out for Colette's ring, because I need to get one of these pieces. My seller finally has some other Lightning Ridge opal for sale, but none of it matches this. This is the perfect off-white with green. And I think if I can get this little area here, it's big enough. If I can get it domed over and isolated. So I think I'm going to actually glue this onto a dop. When I'm going to lose all this stuff on the back underneath all this mixture. So I was hoping I could get the other piece to work, which is this guy. And it's got that stuff in the middle. And the outside matches with the off-white and the green, but it's not thick enough. It is actually thick enough in some areas. So I'm thinking I might use this as the piece for Colette's ring. Maybe we should try and isolate this area here. I don't know, it sort of has like a line in it. It sure shows a lot more green there than it does when it's out in the daylight. And that's what I'm worried about, is cutting it and having it not show as much green as the real ring does. I mean, we could just whip out a stone and put it in the ring and be done. But I think that it's possible for me to actually make it look like nothing was ever missing, because we've identified the type of stone. It's Lightning Ridge white opal with green efflorescence. Small green, not big green flake. And that's what we have right here. 2 pieces of it. And then this third piece kind of matches as well, but there's not as much green going on. There's a lot more variable colors. And that's what I have for the microscope cam. We should talk about what I bought and why I bought it. Not very exciting because it's a universal remote. Next week we're going to talk about capers. Have you ever bought capers? If so, come by and talk about it next week. And if not, go get you some capers. Go pull a caper to get some capers. And then come back and talk about it. Tell us all about it. See, there's different colors and stuff, and it's the right off-white potch, but there's no like big green areas. So I'm worried that this wouldn't actually work out for us. So this piece isn't really going to work. It's got to be one of the other 2 pieces. Which is good that I have 2, because it means I get 2 tries. Speaking of 2 tries, I actually bought 2 of these universal remotes. That's right. So somebody asked me about getting a universal remote for their television. It's an older television. It's a Saber brand television. Apparently they were manufactured for the military. Only available at certain outlets or something. So how did the church get one? I don't know. Probably through a donation, right? Nonetheless, it needs a remote, because the remote's not working, and it's most likely the remote, not the TV. Most likely the infrared LED, because it's intermittent. And new batteries didn't change it. They're not corroded. I took it apart. I checked the pads and traces. I cleaned everything off. Everything's fine. So it's most likely the infrared LED going out, right? So I went and got a universal remote. And I go there and I see this. Universal remotes. You know, this is the aisle. near the electronics. Got the shoes in the background because, you know, they put shoes in the back of the store because that's when you realize your feet are hurting and you probably need to get some better shoes. But then they have these universal remotes on the top row. There's a few to choose from. Most of them are GE. I'm like, well, he doesn't really need much, but I'm not going to get him the bargain basement one. I'm going to step it up a notch. We'll get him the $12 one, right? Took it there, found out he's got a weird brand television. And some of the buttons worked. Just programmed it for Sony, but it wound up. I tried the auto code program feature too, and the channel buttons work, the volume buttons work, but occasionally the mute button will also change the channel, and the input button opens the menu. It doesn't change the input source. So that didn't really work out. So I brought that one back. I got the $17 one. It's 18 and change with tax. Same difference. No, same difference. So I tried two of them out, and they kind of work. But I think we might just take that back and get him a new TV because it would be more power efficient. I was going to say fuel efficient. But, you know, we burn fuel to make power. Nuclear fuel. And we might do that. Gonna find out more tomorrow. So you'll be able to find out the rest of the story next week. Or you can just text me and you'll find out the rest of the story. But anyway, that's what I bought, and that's why I bought that. Have you ever bought a universal remote? And which one did you buy? And why did you buy that? Because, I mean, you can see there are a few different ones, and they got the silver ones, they got the black ones, they got the square or rectangle ones, they got the ones that are, you know, all floopy shaped and kind of, you know, they have like an hourglass shape to them or something. I wasn't going for any of that. I was going off of price and functionality. Don't want too many buttons because I don't want him to get confused, you know, but I don't want too few buttons because I want it to be able to do stuff. So I went with the pretty standard, mid-grade, got the sort of cheaper one, but then went with the sort of more expensiver one, and same difference. So should have stuck with the more cheaper one. Either way, that's what I bought, and that's why I bought that. Desmond, no way. How's it going, Desmond? I haven't seen you in a hog's head or a dog's age. One of those measurements. They're both measurements. We'll pretend like they are. Anyways, what's happening, man? We were just talking about something I bought and why I bought it. Do you buy things? What do you buy? And why do you buy that? I mean, I like money. Yet I parted with that money. Why? Because I wanted that money to do something for me. And it did, sort of, I guess. We'll find out the rest of the story next week. What do I have? Very pretty, very interesting. I'm good. I hope you are too. I am, Charisse. I am. I'm doing pretty good. Off to a slow start for this week. The last time I seen you, Mitch Hedberg told me to drink out of 2 straws just in case one of them breaks down. That's a good idea. Desmond, I actually, when I was a kid, I put together 4 straws. Probably could have done it with 3, but I was thinking 4-dimensionally. 4 straws, and you hold them all together so that they are evenly spaced. You got to hold them at the top and hold them at the bottom and get your drink up there. And you can actually get one from each straw plus the middle channel. The middle channel. That is the key to happiness. The key to the middle channel is the key to happiness. Buds and Hazard, how's it going? Big old hand shaky waving around there. Or maybe you're karate chopping multiple things that need chopping. Choppa, 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 choppa. Like, you know, you're killing two birds with one stone there. I mean, you're waving hi to me, and you're chopping vegetables for like a bacon vegetable salad. So anyway, what do I got? I got like 3 weeks worth of jokes. Not a whole lot there, but there is a couple. Let's see. I'll just copy these and bring them over yonder. I got to start keeping track because, you know, when I miss a week, I'm not sure which ones I did the previous week. All right, here we go. Oh, I got a couple church jokes for you. My throat is so dry that I decided to go to church because the guy outside told me that if I go to church, I can get salivation. Just seems like a win-win situation. Cheers to that. All right, here's one. Here's one I'm not sure about, so I'm testing it out. I wanted to help out at church, so I went down to the hospital and started pestering the sick people. And I was pestering the sick people, and until my priest came and explained to me that it's called anointing of the sick. Yeah. Superhero movies are weird now, because you can't just say the good guy. And if I try to say good girl, it sounds a little weird. So now what do I say? Good person? That just sounds too nice. So I just call him the good fucker. Gotta go vulgar. Till we find a better punch on that line. Somebody asked me a question about baseball. I said, I don't know much about Australian sports. They said, baseball's not an Australian sport. I said, if it's not an Australian sport, then why are the coaches always out there saying, good eye, good eye, good eye, mate? Oh, I got one more church joke. Studies show that Catholic kittens learn about the church by going to kitty catechism. Kitty catechism. I think I have to say it, by going to kitty catechism. Okay. What did the ghost tell his girlfriend? You're my boo. Which is the same thing you can say for that joke. Why do they call it concentrate when that's the opposite of what it makes me do? Well, this isn't even a joke, it's a note. One of the questions, this is how you know you're in the Midwest. When people ask you, how much does a gallon of milk cost where you're from? Someone saw me walking around with my nose up in the air and they asked me if I thought I was high class. I said, no, I'm not high class, I'm high performance, and this is my hood scoop. I don't like spicy food. The closest I get to spicy food... Oh, screwed that one up. I don't like spicy food. The closest I get to a chili pepper is listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, if someone gives me a jalapeno, I have to give it away now. No. Japanese scientists have developed a new mushroom that talks negatively about other mushrooms. It's called the shit-talky mushroom. Man, that sounds like I wrote that while I was smoking something. Which is the problem with weed these days. It used to be when you smoke something, you get high. Now when you smoke something, you get how you doing. I think that joke was better when it said, the nice thing is when I drink and smoke, I go from high to how you doing. That has more punch. Let's see. I don't drink often, though. Sometimes I drink once in a while. Sometimes twice in a while. It helps me lose water weight. The only problem is my boss says it causes me to be rude to the customers. No more drinking on the job. I went to a pizza buffet. I ate so much pizza, I got pizzeria. Speaking of which, I was raised Catholic, and so we don't eat fish on Fridays for Lent, which, or we don't eat meat on Fridays for Lent except for fish, which, you know, fish meat, that's practically a vegetable. But I don't like fish. So I mean, of course, I got the deep fat fried battered fish, you know. The only problem there is it's frozen, so I have two options. I can either wait for it to be cooked in the oven, or I can get drunk enough to eat it out of the microwave. Guess which option I chose. So I went to the bar. I asked for a Crown and Coke, but she said they didn't have Coke. I said, that's all right, I'll just have a Crown and meth. She didn't think that was funny. So I said, how about a Washington apple? Which, a Washington apple is when you mix whiskey and apple pucker and cranberry juice. But instead of using apple pucker, she just had the crown apple, and she mixed it with cranberry. But, you know, she didn't have a lot of room for the cranberry after she poured the Crown. It was kind of like she poured the Crown apple into the glass, she pulled out the cranberry and showed it to the apple Crown, and then put it away. And, you know, I had to drink it. I mean, I want to get my money's worth. That's number one. But also, I don't want to make her feel bad. She was being nice. She poured the whole thing, so I drank the whole thing, of course. And it made me think, you know, as I'm hungover, going to my exercise class in the morning, you know you're really hungover when you sweat while you're stretching. I tried to touch my toes, and it was like wringing out a sponge. But it was good for my spirituality because I was praying that I would make it through my workout. That's pretty much the end of that story, I guess, isn't it? Kind of like I'm praying for you being able to make it through the joke portion. I like drinking Mountain Dew, but sometimes it's a problem getting the Sherpa to stop fighting with the billy goat. And that needs to be rearranged, because I'm talking about drinking Mountain Dew. But sometimes it's a problem getting the Sherpas to stop fighting with the billy goats. Because you gotta have Sherpas and billy goats to go up to the mountain to get the Mountain Dew. Do you think a magician has ever asked Patrick Stewart to pick a card? That's a Captain Picard joke. Moving on. This is a computer joke. I'm making a peace invoking operating system. It's called POS. That'll be a waste of time. A friend and I shared a meat lover's pizza and then parted ways. As we walked our own ways, the friend said, until we meet again. Meat lover's pizza? It was a slow week. Slow, very... I tried to go to the city to go to a restaurant, you know. I thought that'd be exciting, but I got a parking ticket. The officer said, well, you were in a loading zone. I said, I know I'm in a loading zone. I'm trying to take a load off. I want to eat a load of food. I'm probably going to drop a load, and then I'll load a bowl. There's more to that joke, though, isn't there? Load a bowl. I mean, I'm here to load up and then get loaded. Yeah, there's more there. It needs more. It needs to be finished out. I had an uncle in the Navy. His name was Eddie Van Walen. That's a half a joke. So on Facebook, you know, I do the hug emoji all the time. The thumb just isn't enough. I don't know where you're trying to stick it anyway, and I'm too tired to lift my thumb. But everybody gets a hug. Everybody gets some love. And you know, it's the only reason I go with the hug emoji instead of the heart emoji, because I love everybody, but the heart emoji is too personal. It's too romantic. It's like sending a dick pic. And I know what you're saying. The eggplant is supposed to be that, but no, the eggplant isn't a dick pic. The eggplant just means you whipped it out. But the heart emoji, dick pic, that's like saying, look what I did for you. Or look what I did. And it's for you. That's right, I'm funny. People tell me I'm funny. They say I'm funny looking, funny smelling. I give people a funny feeling. It's part of being a funny guy. Handshakes. Handshakes are so weird. They're so weird. It's like, here, let me greet you by reaching toward your crotch. Oh, this is kind of a bit, I'm bringing back a couple of old jokes to fit this one, to kind of sandwich this one. Be careful when you clap, because things are getting so politically correct that the last time I clapped, my hands filed domestic charges. And they are getting politically correct. That's why schools are eliminating the book, The Little Engine That Could. And they're replacing it with The Little Engine That Couldn't, but it was okay because he still got a participation trophy. And I've been trying to be politically correct, you know. I've spent a lot of time, a lot of effort into being PC. But even after all this being PC, I still haven't gotten my participation trophy, wife. Maybe I'm just upset because I'm getting old. And there's a few signs that tell you you're getting old, you know. Like if stretching makes you sweat, you might be an old person. If you won't do a burnout because tires are expensive, you might be an old person. And if you turn down the chance to go clubbing because you have an ailment, you just might be an old person. But you learn a few things with wisdom. For example, when I go to a bathroom, I always check the stalls for wallets. I call it my Johnny Cash. Or like with you know, a lot of people think that the lower urinal is for shorter men, but it's actually for longer men. Or like this idea I had. It's going to be the greatest self-defense device ever. It's called the mace horn. Yeah, it's the mace horn. It's a combination mace and train horn. I can just see it now. The bad guy will be like, oh, my eyes, my ears, my eyes, my ears, my eyes, my ears. And then if we add a club, he'll be like, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. It's for everyday use. Which is probably why it would be fitting to have it present during the joke portion of the program. That was good timing. We finished the joke portion right at the end of the final video of the gem shaping. Isn't that fancy? Just like all these fantastic people who were throwing tomatoes at me, Mr. Weasley, and Benny Loco, and Charisse, and Desmond Hume, and Buds and Hazard. Man, I am so glad you guys made it to the show. I am way off of my schedule. But the fact that you came by to see me, even on the wrong day, and way at the wrong time, means you're still the right audience. And that's why I'm happy to share my jokes with you. And to wish you well. And to hope that you have a great week. Because you deserve it. You do. Do the best you can with what you got. Because you only got this week one time. I trust that you'll do it. And you'll do it well. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Gonna try and keep up with my schedule now. I'm getting some more gems cut. Getting some more gems ready. Had myself a little break. Gonna come back strong. Strong is my fantastic audience. I love you all so much.